Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Keith once again with Craps TX. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you don't mind, hit that thumbs up for us. It's free. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when a new video comes out. So today's strategy is going to be one that is called Working 9 to 5. So stick around, hang on just a moment. First of all, I'd like to mention we have a couple of partners with the channel, pokerchipmania.com. Thank you guys for partnering up with us. They do have clay, ceramic, and composite chips. These are the composites that I use. Shown them to you a few times before, but that is the striped dice version. I kind of like the clickety-clack of them. Great prices over there, and they also started carrying dice again. They carry some poker supplies, but they carry the 19 millimeter dice as well. They've got some other, like I said, poker stuff. They got racks, a few other things to go along with your home casino setup. It also, for our viewers, I was going to say, for our viewers, if you hit this code at checkout, CrapsTX10, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So go check them out. It is the holiday season. Take care of yourself or take care of the game enthusiast in your life and support a small business. So go check out pokerchipmania.com. And also up next, gripmats.etsy.com. They're the ones that I bought this craps table layout from. I don't know if you can kind of see there's some little flowers and stuff on there. This is the deluxe model. It has the hop bets and the ATS, which I do play sometimes. I played it once or twice on camera, but I also kind of play it when I'm practicing. My hop bets are kind of covered here with my table, the way it's set up. But anyway, very nice tabletops. They are water resistant. They have a little video on their page that'll show you how if you pour a little water on there, it beads up. You just wipe it right off. They've also got other casino type game mats like poker, blackjack, and baccarat. And they're always running some kind of discount, seemingly. They run discounts quite a bit. So they are running some for the holidays. Go check out their website. It's gripmats.etsy.com, and you'll be able to see what kind of discounts they're running this month for the holiday. This is December 2025, just in case you're watching this in the future, which you will be watching it in the future regardless, but later on, past the holiday, so happens to be December 2025 right now. So they've also got a lot of game board or game mats for different types of games, over 300 different kinds of game boards. They can even do some custom ones if you just contact them. They've also have theme mats like Star Wars, Dune, and Marvel, some desk mats. They could probably do mouse pads and a lot more. That is gripmats.etsy.com. Thank you to those two companies for partnering up with the channel. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys passing along some discounts to our viewers. So let's get into today's strategy. This one I found by watching this new channel here, Passline. It's Dan and Steph over there. They do some strategies where they roll them out on a home table. They also do some casino visits and give you some video footage from there where they're actually putting the strategies that they use into practice and into I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I'm losing the word, but they're using the strategy, actually using it on a bubble craps machine. I don't believe they filmed at any live tables yet. But anyway, this one is called Working 9 to 5. We're going to be playing all the numbers from 9 to 5, including that one in the middle there. Let's get this money out of the way. They started out with a $1,000 bankroll on a $10 table. I will keep the $10 table method, or minimum rather, but I'm going to start out with 600. There's 3, 4, 5, 50, 75, and 6. We'll rack this up and get it out of the way. They also start off with a lay bet. They were just doing, I think, a $3 lay bet, which Steph was just simulating what they do on a $3 bubble craps machine. They put like a $3 lay bet out there. I am not going to do that, at least not the $3 version, and I'll show you. I mean, it's not really an integral part of this strategy, but if I were to do it, and I may do it like on the second or third shooter, I'd put a $30 lay bet out there that pays 1 to 2, so that would pay 15 if the bad number showed up before a point was set. But let's get into it. We'll go ahead and start rolling it out. That way we just kind of explain it as we go. We'll get us a set of dice here. This is called Working 9 to 5, just like the movie, the song, the one you're thinking about with Miss Dolly Parton. There we go, 538. I don't know why I was missing that there. Okay, let's go ahead and get a point set. Again, I'm not going to play the lay bet, at least not to start. Dice are coming out. There is a 5, 1, 6. All right, so 6 will be our point. The next step is we include a DC in this strategy, or they included a DC, but we're including the DC. So this is part of the strategy. It's a hedge against what you're going to be playing inside. They do not play any inside numbers yet. They're going to wait for this to travel. On the DC, we win with a 2 or 3. We lose with a 7 or 11, and it pushes with a 12. But it also will travel if it hits one of these box numbers here. So let's see where it goes. Dice out. There is a 5, 4, 9. This will travel to the 9. Now we'll place our inside numbers. That is going to be 44 across, or 44 inside, I'm sorry. There's 50, actually. Let's make it 45. Here's 45. And you'll ask the dealer to set you up 44 inside. So that is 10 each on the inside numbers. And 12 on the 6 and 8. All right, so now we have every number covered, right? 9 to 5, 9, 8, that number represented by that right there, 6 and 5. So working 9 to 5. Clever title, good strategy. It's a hedge, so let's get this going. There is a 3, 2, 5. All right, also part of the strategy is to get 2 collects before you press. So we're going to collect, collect, press each time. And then if we are so lucky and get up to a green chip level on the inside numbers, the first hit on that green chip number, we're going to regress. So it's also a regression strategy. We'll regress back down to this $10 level. Anyway, let's keep on going so we can see if we can get there first. There's a 5, so that is $10. That's going to pay 14. So we'll go ahead and pay that out, and we'll just say same bet, because it is going to be same bet. Let's get that moved over. We'll keep each shooter's winnings out here just to kind of see where we're at. All right, so we're looking for a second hit before we do any kind of pressing or pressure. There's aces, doesn't help, doesn't hurt. And a 5, 2, 7. Okay, so this is the kind of the unique part of this strategy. Yes, it sucks. We lose this inside numbers, or these inside number bets here, but that's 44 that we're losing. We did collect 1, so we gained 14. And we're also going to gain 50 on that DC bet. So 114 for that shooter. Not bad. I mean, it's not plus 114, but, you know, better than being minus, right? All right, so let's go ahead and throw dice on the ground, apparently. Hang on one second. Pardon me. There we go. Had to pick that up off the ground. Let's go ahead and get us a new set of dice, get a new shooter. Shooter number 2 coming out. Did we play the lay bet last time? We did. So we're just going to bypass the lay bet this time. Dice are out. Make sure you hit the back wall shooter. It does look like it's on the back wall there. There's a 5, 1, 6. 6 is going to be our point. So we wait for the point to be established first. Then we throw out our DC bet. If you're standing on the end of the table where the DC is, you can place that bet yourself. If you're down closer to the stick, you can throw it down to the dealer and they'll place that for you. And then that way, everybody knows you're playing the dark side. Oh, no. All right, so now we're going to wait and see where that travels to. Dice out. 4, 1, 5. That is going to travel to the 5. We're now going to throw out our $45 or $44. We'll just throw out 60, or I'm sorry, 50. Man, my numbers get mixed up sometimes. We'll get $6 and change. And make as much noise and mess as we can. And then we'll set up 44 inside. Again, 10 each. And we are hoping to get some inside hits before anything else happens. Dice out. And hopefully if we can get 2 inside hits, we're going to collect. Then on that third hit, we're going to press. Get that straightened up there. There's a 3, 2, 5, which is good news, bad news. Good news is we hit the 5. We're going to get paid on that. Bad news is we're going to lose that DC right there. So that kind of sucks, but we get a little bit of an offset. There is 10 that's going to pay 14. We're just going to say same bet. Actually, let's do 15 for 1 since we have it. And we'll take it like that. Now, we're going to replace the DC. Let me tell you a couple of different ways you can do this. When they did it, they replaced the DC. I think they took these down. And you can also just turn them off. You know, you don't have to take them all the way down. You just tell the dealer to turn them off. I'll do that this time. Yeah, that helps and hurts. It helps, you know, against the bad number. It hurts, whereas if you hit one of these numbers here, you're not going to get paid on it. But anyway, we're going to wait and see where that travels. I don't have the little off button, so I'm just going to use this number 4 dice right there to signify that these are off. And let's see where that DC will travel to. 6 to 8. All right, like I said, it helps and hurts. It's going to travel to the 8, but we do not get paid on that 8. Right now, we can say, dealer, please turn my bets back on, and everything is back on and working. Dice are out. We're looking for a second hit to collect on, please. There's a 6-5 EO, 11. Does not help or hurt. And there's a hard 6. All right, 2 things there. Point hit, that's 1. Second thing is there is a second hit on our inside numbers. That's going to pay 14 or 15 for 1. We'll go ahead and collect those 3 nickels. We'll take 2 from our rack already that we won and change that into a quarter. We're now up to $30. Bets are off. This is always working. You can work these if you'd like, but we're just going to turn them off whenever the puck is off. We'll follow the puck on them. And then our next hit on the inside numbers, if we're so lucky, we will get to press. All right, so there's a 6-5 yo. It doesn't help, doesn't hurt. 3-1-4, that'll be our point. All right, there's nothing there. Okay, so now we're still looking for an inside number hit. Everything is back on and working. 3-2-5. All right, 10 is going to pay 14. This is where we press. All right, so out of that $14, we're just going to go ahead and press up the 6 and 8. You can press up whichever ones you'd like, and we'll collect $2 back to the rack. So that will go on there, and our 6 and 8 is at the $18 level, which would pay 21 if we were to hit again. And now you reset. You go back to the collect, collect, press. So our next 2 hits will be collects. There is a 4-2-5. I'm sorry, 4-2-5. 4-2-6. 18 is going to pay 21. We will collect, right? Yes, collect. So there's 21. And we'll just go ahead and put that there. So that's our first collect. Now we're looking for a second collect. Again, another 6, 5-1-6. 18 will pay 21. I am out of red. Let me grab some red real quick. There we go. So that will pay 21. And we'll say same bet. And then we'll go ahead and color up a little bit here. Kind of keep it clean. And get some green, right? All right, so our next hit, we will press if we are so lucky. All right, again, good news, bad news. Bad news, we lose that 50. That's a hard 8, by the way. Good news is we do get the $21 for the hit for Southern coming out there. So we're going to press. We're going to press all the way across. All right, we've done 2 collects. So we're just going to press all the way across. That's 22 inside. We got to throw $1 in because it only paid 21. So now we are up to 24 on the 6 and 8 and up to 15 on the 5 and 9, or the 9 to 5, as it were. All right, so now we have to replace our DC. We're just going to take that from there since that's part of the money we won already. Again, we can turn these off or leave them on. Let's go ahead and turn them off. That is my off button, my number 4 on the dice there. And we're going to wait and see where this will travel to. All right, there's good news. We could use some good news. This pays, if you recall, on the 2, 3, and push on the 12, and you lose on the 7 or 11. So we have ace, deuce, 3 craps there. So that is going to pay us 1-to-1 or $50. We'll put that in the rack. It does not move anywhere. These will remain off. Let's see if we can get this thing to travel. There we go. 3, 2, 5. All right, so that is going to travel to the 5. Turn our inside bets back on. And let's roll. Let's see, we just pressed, so we need 2 collects again before we press. There's a 5-4-9. That's a good one. 15 is going to pay 21. That is going to be a same bet. And we're going to collect. And we'll take a nickel from there and color that up to a green. All right, dice out. Looking for a second hit. There's ace, deuce, 3 craps. No help, no harm. And a 5, 2, 7. Okay, so that is the end of that shooter. Good news, bad news. Once again, we do lose what we have on the inside numbers. We did get some hits, so we got money in the rack over there from that. And we get paid on that DC number right there, $50. So that's going to go back over the rack. There is 125, 35, 40, and 49, 149. So not bad. All right, let's go ahead and do it again. We did not play the lay bet last time. Let's go ahead and do it again this time just because they did it, but they did it at a smaller level, kind of at the bubble craps level. In order to make it a little more interesting at this $10 level, let's play 30 on there. Nothing, so we'll just take those box cars. All right, so we are coming out looking for a point. We also have the lay just in case. And it's going to work in our favor this time. All right, there's a 5-2-7. Frontline winner, also lay bet winner. 30 is going to pay 15, pays 1 to 2. So there is 15, and that's going to go back to our rack. We can choose to either leave that lay up there or take it down. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. Nice out. And there is a hard 8. 8's going to be our point. We're going to take this lay bet down. Actually, we'll use part of it. God, I hope I didn't just jinx myself. Use part of it to make our DC bet. There is a $50 DC. We're not going to play anything inside until that travels. Dice are coming out. Again, we win on the 2-3, push on the 12, and we lose on the bad number and the yo. All right, there is a hard 10. So this is going to travel to the 10. That is not a bad place for that to go in most instances. Hopefully it'll work for us. Let us go ahead and get 44 out there. We actually have exact change, so let's put it out there. $44, please, inside dealer person. There we go. We'll get 44 set up inside and keep on rolling it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Again, just running this that I saw on Dan and Steph's channel. Passline. I have practiced it quite a bit, and I've liked the results thus far. I've had pretty decent results. I've had a few losing sessions as well. But we'll see what we're going to do here on camera. See how it works out. There's a 639. Okay, we're doing the collect, press. So this one is going to be a collect. 10 is going to pay 14. We'll pay 15 for 1. And put that in the rack. We'll go ahead and color up what we got down there just to keep it clean. And we'll keep on rolling, looking for a second hit on those inside numbers. And wouldn't you know it, since I said that was a good place for that number to go, we hit it anyway. 6, 4, 10. So we're going to lose that bet. Bad news is we have no money on that, so we're not going to collect anything. And then now we have to replace our DC if we want to keep it out there. And I'm just going to do it because I believe they replaced it every time that they got sniped. All right, so now we can choose to leave these on or turn them off. I'm going to go ahead and turn them off. That signifies the off button just for those inside bets. And we'll see where this travels. Okay, so it's now going to travel to the other side, the 4. Another good place for it to be, hopefully. And now we'll turn these inside numbers back on. Dice are coming out. And, oh my gosh. Heat Seeker. $50 lost on that 314. Once again, since we're a glutton for punishment, let's go ahead and put another $50 out on the DC and turn our inside bets off. All right, dice are coming out. Where is it going to travel to this time? Well, it's going to travel to the dealer because that is a 6-5 yo and you lose on the 11. No, I'm not getting frustrated. Dice out. There's the 2 craps. Hey, all right, now we can do a happy dance. Pays on the 2-3. So that is a 2, and we get paid on that $50. Doesn't travel anywhere. This still stays off. Dice are out. 5, 3, 8. Okay, so that is kind of a double move there. This is going to go off. That was point hit. We do not get paid on that because we have them off. And then this will travel to the 8. We'll take that off. Well, it's off anyway, but I mean, we can leave it on just to signify it's off. Right. Yeah, so we're waiting for a point to be set. This is always working. So we're not going to work the inside. Dice out. And there is the reason that we don't work the inside. Okay, so now, unique situation. Even though the puck is off, this is working, but that 5-2 came out. So this is going to get paid, right? And I believe it comes down when it gets paid because it travels back down there and you pay it and then collect. Now, if we want to keep it up, which we do, we're going to have to replace it, which we will. Actually, no, we can't do that until the point is set. So let's hold off on that. So first, let's get a point set. Almost want to say like poinsettia, I guess, because it's Christmas. 527. All right, that's a pass line winner, front line winner. Doesn't do us any help, but we're not playing the pass line, and neither does that boxcar 12 midnight. That doesn't help or hurt. There's a 538. Okay, 8 will be our point. Now we can replace our DC, and now we can still leave these off or turn them back on. We're going to leave them off. See where the DC travels to, if it does, and it will. 314 again. Not even going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. All right, so now we are going to be back on here, and I don't even know if we're looking for 1 hit, 2 hits, whatever. I guess we're going to do, when in doubt, collect. So we'll do 2 collects and a press. Or we'll do nothing because we have a 437. This is going to go back to the bank. But we're going to win 50 right there, and we're up some green. So hopefully we came out ahead on that shooter. I'm not sure if we did or not. Where are we at? 21 minutes. We got time for another shooter, maybe 2. Let's see what we can do besides make rhymes when we got times. 538. Let's do that. How about that? How about that? Okay, so we're not going to play the lay bet this time. We'll just leave it. Again, it seems more optional. They played it anyway. I don't know if it's a standard part of that strategy. It doesn't really have any effect on the strategy itself. It's just a hedge against, you know, the number that you don't want to come out unless you're playing the pass line. Anyway, let's shut up and get this set. That is a 549. That's going to be the point. We are now going to take $50 and drop it in the DC. Again, you can drop it in there yourself if you're close enough. If not, throw it to the dealer and they'll place it for you. Now we're going to wait until this travels before we place our inside bets. All right, 628. So it's going to travel to the 8. We're now going to throw out our 44, or we'll just throw out, or roll out apparently, 50, and ask the dealer for 44 inside. You'll get $6 and change. And 44 is coming your way. They would do it a lot quicker than I'm doing it, but I'm not a dealer. So there we go. All right, now we're looking for collect, collect, press. So we need 2 hits on those inside numbers and hopefully stay away from that 1 number. There is a hard 10. Nothing there. Doesn't help, doesn't hurt. There's aces. Okay, we're just going to get some light pairs or hard ways, I guess. Aces don't help or hurt. 639. All right, that is point hit, and it's also our first collect. 10 is going to pay 14, or we'll do 15 for $1. Dealer asks you to drop $1. A lot of times they'll ask you before you even think about throwing it out there, unless you just have it in your hand and ready. All right, we're looking for a point now. This is working. These are off. There is a 2 craps. Doesn't help, doesn't hurt. Does not affect this. It only affects it when it's in the DC box down there before it gets traveled. Is that proper grammar? I don't know. 639. There is our new point. Now everything is back on, including the DC, which it never goes off anyway. 325. Okay, that is our second hit. 10 is going to pay 14. Again, we'll do 15 for 1. And with the reds, we'll go ahead and color up. There's 5 for a quarter. No, you can't do that during a session at a real table. At least it's not proper etiquette. Bad etiquette, really. I'm just doing it here to keep that clean. 415. It seems like I say that quite a bit. So we've already had 2 hits. This is our 3rd hit, so we're going to press. Okay. So that, what does that pay? 14. So we're going to just choose whatever numbers you want to press. In our case, we're just going to press the 6 and 8 since they're the more popular out of all these here. 10 different ways to hit that. Take $2 and put that back in our rack. Get these up to the $18 level. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, this is most likely going to be our last shooter, so let's see what we can do here. We're back to the collect part. So there is a 325. We need 2 collects before we do anything else. That 10 is going to pay 14, or we'll do 15 for 1. And that will go back to the rack. One thing I didn't say, if you notice it's a little brighter, I've got an overhead spotlight down here. It's kind of what I use whenever I join some other people's live streams or whatever. Just kind of helps brighten up the table a little bit. Hopefully it's not casting too much of a glare or anything. I'm filming this later in the day, so don't have a lot of natural light to work with. There is a hard 4, nothing there. All All right, dice out. There's a 617. Okay, like I said, that's going to wrap it up for this strategy and for this shooter. First of all, let's get this cleaned up. We do lose the inside, but we do gain $50 on that DC number. So that will travel to my rack. How about that? All right, let's see where we ended up. We started out with 600. Let's go ahead and get all this set up over here. I think we may be okay. And we will color up and see where we're at. All right, there is 5, 5, and 5. So that's 75. That's going to be 3 green. And then we'll color up our greens. There's the 3. All right, there's 4, 4, 4, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How about that? There's $400. So that is 4 black chips. And you know what? We can color up our black chips because we've got purple. Thanks to the folks at pokerchipmania.com. All right, so there is a purple chip for those 5 black. So yes, we are in profit. There's 5 and 6. That was our starting bankroll. There's 100. Not say 100. There's 100 because I'm from Texas. All right, so there is 6702. So we gained $102. Not bad. Was what? I don't know, half a dozen, maybe 8 shooters. I don't even know if it was that many. But, you know, that would take a little time to go around the table if we were at a real table. But anyway, yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments. That was the Working 9 to 5 by Dan and Steph right here at Passline. Go check out their channel. They're gaining some subscribers. Yeah, they play both in casinos and at their home table. They've got a good rapport, and they kind of like interview each other as they're playing, asking different questions of each other. What it is they like about strategies, or, you know, like on the 9 to 5 video, they've kind of got some insight to the jobs that they had growing up through adulthood and into where they are now. So anyway, check their channel out, Passline, Dan and Steph. Thank you guys for letting me run the strategy. I did get their permission first. I didn't want to, you know, use their name or run their strategy without getting a little okay from them first, and I'm sure they probably found the strategy somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing. A WAG, wild ass guess. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you'd rather email us, you can email us right here at crapstx@gmail.com. Thank you again to our partners, pokerchipmania.com, 10% off using the code crapstx10 at checkout. And to gripmats.etsy.com. Go check out that site. They do have some percentage off discounts on various items. For the holidays, 2 small businesses, please go check them out. And thank you to pokerchipmania.com and gripmats.etsy.com for agreeing to partner with our channel here at CrapsTX. See what I did there? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching us roll out this 9 to 5 or working 9 to 5 strategy. Thank you to Dan and Steph once again. It was fun. We've had a lot of fun, but we'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.